Turn 19. Reinforcements arrived. That's always good to see. 4 units. 2 rally, 2 recovered. Okay, so what's happening with our Germans and our Poles? He's gone back, which is good. And he's pulling back. He's still got a lot of cavalry there. Coming forward with the Germans slowly. Or to the Germans, should I say. Slowly and surely. He's reached Niedersdorf. Just for some skirmishes. Have these guys resupplied? They have. Have they? I think they all have. Good. But as I said, I'm expecting that to be taken. They're just having a... It's just a delay in action there. He's sending quite a few troops all in line. Have we got... I think we have. Line movement restriction. So... Sometimes when you move in line, there's a dice roll to see if he's going to be disordered or not. And we're not allowed to melee with disordered troops unless there's a leader in the hex. So that's going to go against him. All my French have rallied, thank goodness. But they're knackered on the whole, especially that battalion. Yep, stalemate at the woods, good. And he's brought all his cavalry back. Doesn't look like anything's coming. Where's his arc of fire? I'll just bring them over there. Oh, that's why I hate sometimes the pathfinding. They're going to get blasted now. Oh, don't come moving back. Early morning, my mistake. Rather than go individual hexes, I just dragged and dropped him. And the pathfinder said, I'm going to go up the road and then go right in front of the 8-gun battery, 6-pounders as well, probably. Brilliant. Reinforcement wise, what do we got? Chasseurs and Hussars getting up to Seehausen. A bit of a mess down there, but it is organised chaos. It is organised chaos. Let's see what we've got coming in. Browser. Oh, lovely. Okay, you see Grenadier Guards, however, only quality B. Not the best in the world. D, D and D, and they're here, so I'll see once I've moved everyone whether I need to put them up the woods towards Golsdorf or go around to Seehausen. And then it looked like we had some artillery as well, but I'll show you that on the flip side of this turn, which I'm going to do now, so I'll catch you in a few. So down here where my reinforcements are, quartermasters are going to be busy, sort of troops going here, there and everywhere, but it is organised chaos, so... I've got Germans going up the road, Saxons going to the left to Mark Friedersdorf and up, new troops going up to the left, new troops going up to the right. Well, and this is basically the supply. I'm going to make sure they take some supply and some artillery with them, so I don't want to overload one side and not the other. It's going to be about an even split, more or less, maybe slightly more towards Golsdorf. Yeah, 2:30 as we said, that's when they're likely to get there. Just did a bit of cleaning up here, a bit of tidying up. Brought my lancers into sort of a bit of a position of safety. Doubt they can see them. Oh, they can. So we might as well. Be rude not to. Turned my artillery round because that's going to be a lot more beneficial firing on these troops here than it is at cavalry miles away. Plus they're 10 hexes, which is about 20 hexes too far for these guns by all accounts. We can start to skirmish, I suppose. Not that it's going to do much. One man on the Jaegers. I was hoping they're sort of Landwehr formation, but they're not. They're proper proper light troops, Jaeger detachment. That's about all we can do. Stuck my... who have you got? Let's spread you out a little bit. Put you there. Who else have we got? Frankemont. So he's got everybody, so I'm going to bring you up with the artillery. And that's about all we can do there. Where do we get to now with the, up here in Niedersdorf? So, all we've got here is some skirmishers and these pop guns and light troops, which I may pull back next turn. Don't want to lose the main body. Terrible roll with the dice. Absolutely terrible. Okay, they're two, basically the equivalent of 1 6-pounder, but they're worse than you'd ever expect. Even with the optional fire results not switched on. The dice never seems to go. Perfect. Goodness gracious. What we do have is our main artillery. Let's see what we can do with these guys. Happy if I selected them. It's a bit better. Not great, but not the worst either. We see them, we can't. And then for the rest of it, I have around the sort of crossing at Niedersdorf started to put out some troops in line formation. Brought these guys back from up here on this mound, just to act as a bit of a backup. I can't lose Niedersdorf, basically. I cannot lose it. Otherwise, they're going to get sandwiched in, my Italians. What can we see from here? We still see those troops up there. Feeble, but what to do? Don't think they know, they can't see them. 2 guns. 1 man? Oh, 3. I'm in no position up here to go on the offence at all, really. Otherwise I'll leave nice big holes in my lines. But my cavalry is catching up on that right flank, I'll show you in a second. Very disappointed with my artillery up to date. We've got 30s, 20s and 40s. I brought those 3-pounders up into the square, not that they're going to do anything. This horse artillery here that we've got might get the tail end of some of those troops, possibly. Yeah, and then it'll be time to move the next turn. So yeah, I'm just edge and creeping my cavalry forward, trying to stay out of the way of the edge of this hill, just because they can see the edge of that hill, and they're going to get blasted this time because of the AI and the pathfinding, should I say. Not to worry, not the end of the world. Maybe lose a handful of men just because of the range. My own fault. And yeah, that's about where we're at with this. What we're doing victory-wise. Draw at the minute. I've lost more. Cavalry losses are creeping up, or have crept up. Still no leaders, that's good. We're sort of careful with the leaders, that's good. I like them to be at the front, maybe not necessarily the front line with the troops, but I do like them to be at the front. They're no use when they're 10 hexes back, just watching everything, as in real life I suppose. Alright, just having a quick look before I send it on and make sure. Got my Germans, I forgot about. Bring that over here, I think. Yeah, so that's where we're at. Fairly happy, fairly stable for the time being. I'm glad he didn't push forward here. That was a bit of a concern. That's going to give me my 2-3 turns I need to get reinforcements up, and that's going to force him to start to think about what he wants to do. I dare say knowing Devon, he does know what he wants to do, and he's got a fair idea. But this is very rock and roll. We were saying in an email, this is very to and fro, and every time you think, oh, I've got a plan, something happens that you've got to change that plan or amend that plan. But that's wargaming. That's good. That's why I like it. That's what I like to see. That's a nice chunk of blue hexes. The problem is, out here somewhere, are Swedes. Right then, on that note, catch you on the next time. Thanks for watching. Alright, 10:20, not quite halfway through. 10 past 2 in the afternoon, and reinforcements have arrived. That's good. We've got that steady stream of reinforcements arriving throughout sort of the early afternoon. What have we got ourselves into then? So, that's good that he sort of pulled back from there. Give a chance to rest my lancers up and sort of jockey everybody into position, which I'm going to do. I shouldn't do that straight away. I'll go through it first. And Germans, okay, he's pushed a skirmisher line. Now, I remember last time, I think it was last video or the video before, I said that he's pushing everybody across in line, which is kind of what they did, especially the Prussians. That was, well, maybe a little bit earlier than this, 1813. They would push everybody forward in line. They would only march in column, and then everything else was pretty much in line. And it's, for example, Auerstadt and Jena, that is a house rule that we have specifically for those battles, because otherwise the Prussians are too strong if you sort of play like that. So adding a little bit of historical context. But we do have a line, line movement disorder role, I think I mentioned, and I said, oh, that's up to Devon, you know, you'll find out the hard way sort of thing. And then he said in his email, you know, he said he didn't know that, and I feel bad now saying that, and should have maybe told him and gone through the optional rules with him a little bit, because he might not be as familiar as he is with the like ACW games and stuff. So I feel a bit bad about what I said last time. We just sort of having a bit of banter between turns on our emails and things like that. Obviously, don't discuss this in the comments, but he says he thinks I'll have an advantage later on, just because I'm sort of more familiar with the Napoleonic games than I am, or than he is. To a certain extent, I would agree, and potentially there. However, this rule, the optional fire and melee results being off, evens it up. The dice rolls can go very much in anyone's favour. And does even it out. There's a lot more randomness to it, which is good. And as I said, I don't play to win. I play to be historic to the journey, how to get to the result. That's more important to me, and having fun along the way. It's not the winning, it's the taking part and all that. Well, it kind of is for me. I don't care if he whips me or if anybody whips me. It's if I have fun going along and doing it, perfect. Wagram tournament is a very good example of this for one of the clubs I'm in, and I think I mentioned it before. I'm playing it in a very gamey way, as is my opponent. There's no house rules, even though I just invariably find myself automatically doing something that lines up with my house rules. I don't have to. And I've had some play-by-email opponents before where if you play this as a game, you'll win. Okay, I mean, double stacking infantry, disordered units, you know, not playing it in a historical manner, putting skirmishes behind your lines and taking victory points and things like that. You'll win the game if that's what you want to do, get a points victory. The points are, in my opinion, always line up for what it should be in a historical context. But if you want to play it as a game and win it as a game, that's your prerogative. Don't mind that. Sometimes it's harder to play against players like that if you're historically minded, because they do things that you don't expect that aren't historically realistic. So you sort of see something and you can't defend against it. Just, it wouldn't be done, but it doesn't mean you can defend against it. But there we go. So Devon, when you watch this back, don't worry, it's not going to be as one-sided as you might think. Okay, certainly not. And I'm not the world's greatest player anyway. Okay, so what have we got? Needers goes off. He's pushed forward as we expected. We're not too much. And we do have who's this? Some skirmishers. It is indeed. They can't get back across the river, and they won't be able to get back down too much. One thing, okay, I agree with it, is that skirmishers can't, or any routed unit, can't move closer to a hex closer to the enemy. The problem is their escape route might be sort of slightly closer to the enemy, and a lot of games you have routed units sort of trapped. They just cannot go anywhere. Just because of that rule. I don't know the way around it without not having that, but just including it in house rules, which we sort of do have. You know, these units have to find their own way back, or closest way back, let's say, without causing any disruption. So there we go. In the woods, stalemate. Still a stalemate, which is good. That's just what I want. Can we see anything over in Jutterberg? No. Has he had a go at them? No. Surprisingly, that's good. I thought they might have had a pot shot against them. Pull them onto the road. Down to my mess of reinforcements. Organised chaos stuff. We do have some more troops coming. And who do we have? Saxon Lightfoot Artillery. Some batteries, some pioneers. And they're going to go up to either Seehausen or Golsdorf. Alright. Looking good so far. I'd say I'm still on for a major defeat. Oh no, draw. We'll see. Give it another 8 turns, 10 turns. I might have a full battle. My biggest concern, not here so much anymore, because he sort of pulled back, is this big blank space. I'm expecting Swedes somewhere. Aha! There we go. Just like that, the Swedes have appeared. And they got some, I think, Swedish as far as they are. And they're half decent quality. Aha! So they are on the field. Concerned? No. Race to Seehausen now. He's going to go through Blonsdorf, so I think I'll just about make it there first. However, need to now consider my... Oh, what have we got here? Naundorf base cider. And we need to get some troops there, so I need to divert some troops up this sort of road here as well. And just keep an eye on what he's doing. This could be scouting party. It could be part of a division, a corps. I don't know if it's an army, and I don't think the whole Swedish army arrived. I think it was pretty much a corps, maybe, and I don't think they were that committed on the day. That's not to say Devon won't commit them, but we'll see. So the front has broadened somewhat. Right, I'm going to get moving and not bore you with me chatting away, and I'll get back to you in a few. I never learned my lesson. My last little move there was to bring that cavalry sort of overlooking Jutterberg back, right click on that hex, out held down, and the Pathfinder went there. Opportunity fire, lost 3 men for my stupidity, and I'm responsible for the death of many of my little pixel trooping just because of my lazy movement and pathfinding. Sorry guys, there we go. Started moving all my squares forward, edging forward with some cavalry, limbered up my guns, moving them a bit closer up, closing that net across here. The only thing that might put a stop to this is anything that comes from Jutterberg itself, so I'm hoping, that's not what I want, that's one. I'm hoping that nothing actually will appear from there, and reinforcement wise, otherwise it's going to have to be quite a sharp and quick change of plan. Around the woods itself then, what can we do? Probably just out of reach. Yeah, exactly that, just out of reach. However, we'll have a go at some of the infantry that's here. No guns there. We have got some guns up here. A little amazing 3-pounders. What we got here? I realised that I am always complaining about those 3-pounders. Yeah, I am. I won't lie. Just because they are useless. What else have we got up here that we can have a go at? Skirmishers, I suppose. I doubt these guns can see them. No, they can't. However, they're not in a bad position to sort of overlook over there. What we do need to do is get some troops over here, just in case he sneaks through. Italian skirmish is still routed. Who have we got there? Fontanelli. Go and sort them out. That's about 7 turns now that they seem to be routed. Sorted the cavalry out around Dennewitz just to sort of protect those crossings with a bit of reserve there. Our pop guns here, can they have a go? They can. Didn't think there would be. Not facing target, but they are there. I'm hoping our artillery here is going to be effective, because he's got quite a few numbers here. And it's a combined armed force that he's got. Oh, these are terrible. Come on. That's better. That's better. I've pulled my Leger back, the actual main sort of parent body, and brought the skirmishers in and around the town just because that's where they're going to be best used. Give them a little bit of protection. Put some skirmishers out this side of the crossing and the bridges. Got like troops in line, and it's about all we've got. It's about all we can do. Might put them in line as well. I brought one battalion back, this absolutely knackered battalion back from down here. Do have a bit of a reserve around here, so it's a choke point. Hopefully we'll be able to sort of hold that. A lot depends on that, because if that falls, as I said, Niedersgesdorf, that opens up the woods and the Italians getting sandwiched and my whole right flank going. Germans, what have we got with the Germans? Just the 7. Where's his cavalry? How much of a threat is it? Get you into line before you disrupt, I think. Don't have much artillery here. It's on its way. Bit of a reserve. Fairly happy with the Germans right at the minute. Skirmishing for skirmish's sake. Not very effective. What else did I do? These poor guys here, tried to get them back. 2 opportunity fires, took away half their number. Well, 13. They'd have 20 men, but 10 of them went, and then another 3 of them went. Poor guys. And all in all, I'm pretty... Definitely says, oh, your superior cavalry knowledge will win the day. I didn't put them to good use. I've got Battle of Paris going on, and Russian heavy cavalry tried to take out battery guns, but because of these optional fire results, you've never seen cavalry disappear so quickly. 2 whole squadrons disappear in a turn. I think we had my squadrons were about 120-ish, something like that, and one of them, I think it was about 119, went in one cannon shot, one cannon salvo from about 3 hexes away, something like that. Savage, absolutely savage, just vaporised. Wouldn't want to clean that mess up. That's canister shot for you. Okay, around here, just brought my lancers into a bit of a better position, and brought my squares up a little bit as well, just out of view of those guns. Oh, they're not. Whoops. Whoops. I would have thought, I should have checked it, I just assumed that lip there would have actually... So, they're going to get blasted. Got a leader with them, they might disorder, hopefully not disrupt. And rout it must. Reinforcements are on their way. Fire just sort of got to Seehausen. Definitely going to make it before him. And everybody else, they might sort of organise chaos around here. But just to show you what my plan is, around here. Let's get somewhere there, those woods. So, because it looks a bit messy here, what I'm planning to do is bring some troops up to Seehausen, bring some more troops up this road, split them off up towards Mellinsdorf as well, and then see what's going on here, and then hopefully bring some troops up here to sort of mass for an attack on his right flank. All depends on what the Swedes are doing up at this end. How many there is, what his plan, do they branch off down towards Mellinsdorf, do they go to Blonsdorf? I don't think that's all he'll have there, that's just leading elements of something that we can see. And those lead elements have only got 7 squadrons to deal with them until everybody else gets there. They're on their way, slowly but surely, taking guns up, infantry, everything up on that left hand side. And I think for Goldsdorf, these troops here will be the only ones that I'm actually going to take. Just this lot. Because we got a lot of troops there anyway. Everybody else is going to head up that left-hand side pretty much, I think. We can always bring them along that road anyway, and there'll be a bit of a gap there. Just have a quick look victory-wise. So what have we lost? A lot. Cavalry losses, a bit concerning. Guns are even. No supply, we're taking care of our supply. Not that we've got that much, actually. And our leader losses on 0 and 0. Right, this has been a good turn. Still enjoying it. Thanks for all your comments. And who have we had commenting? Let me just double check. Grey Wolf 31, thank you very much for your nice comments. That website that you mentioned, which I better not mention, isn't mine. I don't have a website. I've got a Facebook group and we've got the YouTube page, and looked into a website, but it's quite a lot of work, and now back to work and things like that, I'm afraid I don't think I've got time to do a website. It's something that's on my list of to-do things, but that's a very long list of to-do things. And who else? We've got Flicker of Shadows. Yep. You mentioned the Waterloo campaign. Some good reading material in those videos. Not sure if you've seen the other videos I've done, but I've done a lot of playthroughs against the AI initially, and a load of tutorials for people getting into it, so check them out. And a lot of playthroughs against human opponents. Got some ongoing ones. We've got a full 100 days campaign, 300 odd turns going on with 2 against 1 human opponents. And I've got a Borodino one, which is stalled just because it's against a human that when there's no house rules, and he's a bit gung-ho, and it's not the nicest way to play, as I mentioned. Righty-ho, I shall send this back to Devon. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, what's left of it, and we will see you for turn 21.